Hello, this is Mr. Vincent Clarke from the pop group Erasure. I'd like to wish you, all you people out there, a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hello, this is Andy Bell. Merry Christmas, everybody. Love you.
And thank you so much for all your continued support.
Bye.
How do you choose the songs that you play on tour, and why don't you always play the same songs at every show? The set tends to kind of evolve as we go through a tour. Obviously, we want to include, the stuff from the new record, and then Andy will often pick some obscure songs, which invariably get dropped because nobody knows what they are.
Well, choosing the songs on the tour is always a bit tricky because you can't please everybody all the time, and you have to kind of change it up a bit, and we get bored sometimes playing the same old songs over and over again. But then people want to hear hits and things, and we like to play the new stuff as well. Also, like a few tracks maybe that people haven't heard so much before. So it kind of gets changed around according to where we are and which songs are famous in which places. So, and the reason we change it around really is so we don't get too bored on tour, because it's a long time. Would you ever consider adding more musicians to the tour lineup and delivering different versions of your songs?
I don't think so. I mean, we actually once incorporated a percussion player for some shows that we did in Birmingham. But then I decided that, drum machines sound better. I
think Vince and I just like it to be us, or like it to be the family really, which is me, Emma, Val and Vince. But I mean, it is great to do different versions of the songs, so when we did the kind of remix tour, I really enjoyed that.
When will you be back out on tour again? Probably in the future.
I can't imagine that we would be back out on tour until at least 2020, I suppose. How do you choose where you go on tour? Is there any chance that next time you'll play some of the countries you've not been to for a long time? Again, it's a question of logistics, a question of how big the production is, which places would want us to perform there. I mean, whether it's, lucrative for us to go there. It's quite tricky. I mean, I like playing in places we haven't been to for a long time.
It's all down to money, really. If there's a demand for us to play in a particular country, then we'll go there and tour there. I mean, there are loads of places that I'd love to visit, but it doesn't make financial sense for us necessarily to, do a month's long tour in, say, New Zealand, unfortunately.
Which song was your favourite to perform on the last tour, and which was your least favourite?
Probably my favourite was, it always is, it's A Little Respect. And my least favourite, well, I thought they were all pretty good actually. So no least favourites.
I always love singing A Little Respect. Least favourite, I don't know really. I think it's something needs to be more challenging, so a toss-up between Who Needs Love Like That and Oda Moore. I think we got quite bored quite quickly with I Love Saturday.
What's the most enjoyable thing about the World Be Gone tour, and the least enjoyable thing?
The most enjoyable thing is being out with our tour family, with Valerie, Emma, Andy. When we had a few days off, just to stay in a nice luxury hotel was really nice.
It was all really just good fun. We're working with people that we've worked with for years, so it's a bit like a family, really. The least enjoyable thing is just when you have to fly from one city to the next, especially in America, because it's such a pain in the arse.
I think the least enjoyable thing was being on the bus, and we were lucky because our bus didn't break down. The cruise bus broke down, I think, about 3 times.
Apart from the cancelled and postponed shows, what was the worst thing that happened on the last tour?
I think the worst thing is always when you have to cancel a show. You feel really bad.
I think that the cancelled and postponed shows, that was a really a huge disappointment for all of us. but apart from that, everything was pretty cool.
Where do you get all the ideas for the stage sets and the tour costumes? Andy Whittle is good at coming up with ideas. I mean, we always have like meetings and just toss ideas around, you know.
Well, this time around, the costumes really were left to the individuals in the band. So Andy chose his, I chose mine, Val chose hers, and Emma chose hers as well.
Costume-wise, we kind of just went shopping, really.
As regards to the stage set, the guy that did the lights for us, he came up with the concept, which was completely over the top, and then we just kind of made it smaller and more economical. But I think it looked pretty good. Would you ever consider performing each of your albums in its entirety over a run of nights like Sparks did recently?
Not at the moment.
Actually, that is something that kind of intrigues me. I mean, I quite like the idea. I would quite like the idea of perhaps performing the album chorus in its entirety. That might be cool. But you'd have to do it like in a museum or something like that, you know, somewhere special.
Do you receive the gifts that are left for you at the venues on tour? Yes, we do, and thank you very much for all the gifts that you leave us.
We receive the gifts, and they are we're very grateful for them, and they always come back to us, and thank you.
What's the secret to a successful tour?
The secret to a successful tour is not taking anything too seriously.
I think it's because we've been touring for quite a while. You have to keep it fresh. You have to have a good selection of songs. You have to get lots of sleep, be healthy,
and having a bit of a laugh. Do you have any say which artists support you when you go on tour?
We choose them or lose them, I suppose.
We decide really who the artists or the support band's who the support band's going to be. So yes, it's our decision.
Andy, how do you remember all the lyrics when you're on tour? Well, sometimes I don't remember all of the lyrics. Mostly I do. I think they get imprinted on your brain. And then if I don't, I improvise, or I'll just find a word that rhymes with the word that I've forgotten, and hopefully the people won't notice.
What was the most memorable show over the course of the last tour?
The most memorable show? That's always a really hard question.
They were all really terrific, actually. I mean, you know, the audiences were wonderful and supportive everywhere, and we're truly grateful.
I think I enjoyed some of the Mexican shows. If you had to collaborate with another artist or a group of artists, then who would you want it to be?
I think I would personally like to collaborate with, I don't know, Philip Glass. That would be cool.
I would love to do a duet with either Annie Lennox, Alison Moyet, or Debbie Harry.
How often do you listen to other people's music purely for your pleasure?
Well, that's one thing that we do of a night time. Steve and I like to choose music for each other on YouTube, and we listen to the songs, different mixes of stuff. There's an amazing mix of Heart of Glass by Philip Glass around, and Steve likes this Italian singer called Mina, who's been around for years and years and years, but she's amazing.
I listen to a lot of other people's music, especially recently because I do a radio show with a friend, and in that instance, you know, you listen to the entire song. You're kind of like, you're not forced to do it, but you do it, and in that respect, in that way, I get to learn a lot more about other people's music.
If you could redo one song from the Erasure catalogue, which one would you choose?
Probably Heavenly Action.
Well, I think I would scrap that we ever did a version of No GDM, because I don't think it's very good. Also, I don't think I would have done other people's songs. That's not my favourite so much.
Do you have any ideas for the next Erasure album yet? Is it true you'll be starting work on that in the new year?
I think we'll be writing in the new year. I mean, not in the new year, probably towards the end of the year, because I've got the Torsten 3 coming up, which is very soon.
No ideas or concepts really, not yet. It'll all depend on when Andy and I sit down in a room together with a guitar, and then we'll see what happens.
Any chance that you might release a compilation of all your B-sides?
It's pretty unlikely, I would say.
I'm sure there is a chance, because these days record companies seem to release absolutely everything they can get their hands on, and I think B-sides albums tend to be quite popular.
What are your thoughts on the song La Gloria? It's very, very complicated.
It's a bit crazy. It's a bit nonsensical because I didn't really speak Spanish at the time, so I was just making it up. But I think it's a fun song. What's the story behind the song First Contact? Well, we were, for some reason, I'm not sure why, we thought somebody had asked us if we would do a song for the film First Contact. So we made a version of this song in collaboration with the other guys that worked at the Strong Room Studio, and it just came out like, it was one of those really fast songs that came out like Supernature.
Any ideas on who might produce the next Erasure record?
I think Vince and myself.
We'll probably produce it ourselves, and then get somebody else to do the mixing of the record.
Andy, what are you saying underneath the music right at the beginning of the track Breathe? To be honest, I'm not saying anything. I'm just uttering and murmuring made up words.
Are there any songs that weren't released as singles that you think would have made a single? Well, when we released the album Chorus, the choice for single was always going to be Home, but in the end it didn't pan out. So,
what is the biggest challenge when you sit down to write a new song? I think it's just words coming out of the pen, really, and tunes coming out of the air.
I think the biggest challenge is you trying really hard not to repeat yourself. You're trying to find something new. Where will you be on Christmas Day this year? I'll be at home in Brooklyn.
On Christmas Day this year, again, I will be at my Steve's sister's house. What is your favourite Christmas memory from childhood? I don't know. I think probably my favourite Christmas memory from childhood is like just all of us being together, the whole family, because we've got a big family, and because there were so many of us, the 6 children, we took in turns to have a big present. And I think one year I got a push bike it was either from my nan or from my mum and dad, or all of them together. And so I was so thrilled, I just went out riding my bike.
My favourite Christmas memory is on Christmas Eve. I remember when I was too young to drink, my mum would get out her coffee percolator, and it was the one time of year that she did, because we mostly drank tea, and she would make coffee with this coffee percolator and then put a little bit of brandy in it, or maybe it was whiskey or something, and cream, and she allowed me to drink some of this stuff, and I thought it was amazing. What will you be eating on Christmas Day? I've ordered some beef, actually, roast beef we'll be having, and Yorkshire puds, and Brussels sprouts, the usual gubbins.
What's your Christmas tipple of choice? I suppose my Christmas tipple of choice would be champagne.
Well, I don't mind the odd glass of sherry, actually, sweet sherry.
Also, what's very good is brandy and Babycham, but you can't get it. You can't get Babycham here in the US.
What is your Christmas wish? I just hope that I don't overcook the beef.
My Christmas wish is just for all my friends to be happy, everyone's be healthy, the usual things really. What would you like to find under the tree on Christmas morning? To be honest, we have everything that we need, but socks is always good. Yeah, socks is always good, socks and pants.
I would like to find not a mess, because we have a cat now who may well destroy the tree before we wake up on Christmas morning. What's your favourite Christmas joke? I don't have any Christmas jokes. Andy's the one that has all the jokes.
I'm hopeless at telling jokes. I don't know any jokes.
Ish.
Will you be seeing each other at all over the festive season?
We won't be seeing each other. Andy's spending his time in Florida, I believe, in the sunshine. I'll be spending my time in miserable New York, where it's friggin' freezing.
What would you consider the single most standout moment of your career so far?
I think really having the opportunity to make a record in the very first place, being lucky enough to meet Daniel Miller, and being lucky enough for him to consider that, the band that I was in and the songs that we were writing were worthy of release.
I'm kind of very proud of the fact that we can go and play all around the world. We have a cult audience. People get to hear our songs, even though it's not played so much on the radio and we're never ever on the TV. So I think it's, just our longevity and that we're still here. Andy, when you perform Erasure songs during your solo shows, is it strange to be doing them without Vince and the girls? It is quite strange. It's kind of like doing a carry-on film without all the other people in it. But you get used to it. It's a different thing entirely. So we don't really want the solo shows to be the same as the Erasure shows. So that's why we mix it up.
I hate to even ask, but do you ever think about retiring from music?
Sometimes I think about, giving it a break. But I think music's in your blood. So you can't really... Like Dolly Parton, she said she's never ever going to retire.
I'm not sure that I could ever retire from music. It's in my blood. And I can't imagine doing anything else. So, unlikely.
What was your most ambitious project, do you think? I think the most ambitious project for Erasure was Erasure, the album, and the 1992 Phantasmagorical tour. That was quite ambitious. And I think Torsten's quite ambitious as well, because it's quite tricky and quite complex.
I think the most ambitious project was probably the Phantasmagorical tour, just because there was so much involved. There were so many people. The set was incredible. The logistics was like mind blowing, and we kind of pulled it off. What are your career plans for 2019? Well, for 2019, I'm going to be hopefully writing with Andy again. I've got a new release coming out on Very Records, which is very exciting. And that's kind of it really.
Again, rehearsing when I get back in February, March, and then doing the Torsten show in April, I think, March, April. Then I suppose Vince and I will get together to do some writing after the holiday.
In the Take a Chance on Me video, how did you decide who was going to be Agnetha and who was going to be Annifred? I'm not sure actually. I think that the guy that did Dean Bright, who did who organised the costumes, he decided who was going to be who.
Have you seen the Bohemian Rhapsody film? And if so, what did you think of it? What has been your favourite film this year?
I didn't see that. I know it didn't get very good reviews, although the guy looks amazing. My favourite film this year, thus far, I kind of like the new Terminator movie. It was kind of really bad and really good.
I haven't been to see it yet, but I mean, I love the original Freddy so much. I kind of don't like seeing people in bad wigs. So I'll probably wait till it's on Netflix or something. Have you ever been asked to appear on any reality TV shows? And if so, which ones? I think I've been asked to go in the jungle. I'm not sure. I know I've definitely been asked to go on Big Brother, but I'm really glad that I didn't go on there.
I've never been asked to appear on a reality TV show. But if, catching up with the Kardashians were to ask me, I might turn up, who knows. Keeping up with the Kardashians, I should say. Oops. What's your favourite 80s song? Very tricky. This week, I'm going to say it's Underpass by John Fox.
I think my favourite 80s song, I know it sounds a bit corny maybe, but is True Colours by Cyndi Lauper. I love that song. And also, I like some of Debbie Harry's solo work. So I would say like French Kissing in the USA, or what was the other one I love? I love I can go all the way, I can see clearly. That's it.
What is your favourite animal, and do you have any pets? My favourite animal is a cat, and we do have a cat. His name's Dio. He's just a kitten. He's recently joined us in Brooklyn, and it's fun having a cat around, just so that I can annoy him.
We've got a lovely, lovely Doberman called Angel, who's more human than any animal that I've ever seen. And we used to have pets all the time when we were kids, including my favourite Alsatian called Tina, who I had to go and have her put down at the vet because she was very old and she had cancer. What's the closest you've ever come to having a fight?
And I have never fought. I mean, we've had arguments before, but Andy is much, much bigger than me, and I wouldn't dare raise a fist to him because I would lose.
I think the closest we came to having a fight was probably maybe about 3 tours ago or something. We were just really, really tired. And it was freezing cold, raining. Anything that went wrong had gone wrong. And I was at the end of my tether.
What's a typical day like for you? Is it all waking up to champagne breakfasts every day and sitting outside your villa getting a tan? Well, you don't want to be sitting outside having breakfast in Brooklyn right now because it's friggin' freezing.
Just depends where we are really in the world. I mean, I love going out for meals. I like to sleep in. I do like those goldfish snacks. Not real ones, just those cheesy crackers.
And I don't have champagne breakfasts. I mostly have Cheerios with a little bit of fruit.